So let's talk about the YouTube ad crisis, where we at from last week or so. We put out a video last week, I think it was last weekend, actually today, that if, we continue to go through this, then our channel will end up having to shut down. And we put out the call that we need about 3,000 patrons to join us on Patreon. And people had definitely responded to that call. They really just support it in a lot of ways. We're not where we need to be at yet, but a lot of people have went to our Patreon and wanted to support because they enjoy the news and information they receive here. They don't want our show to go away. And understand something, the kind of show that we do here, I just have not found that from a melanated individual on this platform. I haven't found it. I'm not saying other melanated people aren't doing news and politics, but I'm talking about the way we do it. We don't care what people think. We're going to say the truth and for what it is. We're not tied to no Democrat party. We're not tied to no Republican party. We're tied to the people. And the people is the most important. The people is the one that you do it for. And the people has no ties to actual parties at the end of the day. Once they realize what these parties really are, they're actually two sides of the same coin. They can care less about you. But when we need to point these things out, let's go ahead on and turn this down because these people, let's see, let's try this out. Let me put this, all right. Hey, don't you hate when notifications pop up? But actually, Anthony Harriet, he just made a donation. I just want to call you out if you are doing that. Anytime someone do something on Patreon during the stream, we'll call your name out as well. But with all that being said, we don't have the big budgets. We don't have investors. We are truly grassroots here. And some people, was trying to compare what we do to another channel. We talking about the other bigger channel that's here. Like I told this one person in the email, please don't try to compare us to no one else because we didn't get, a $4 million investment. We are still grassroots. And when I told that person that, I said, what you talking about? And I showed them the actual link of that. And they were shocked they didn't even know that they got that kind of money. So when we're talking about, the ad crisis is a very serious thing for us. And I know, and I just feel that a lot of people do enjoy this platform. Some people don't. Some people want to come here to troll. Some people want to ridicule. And that's fine. We're talking about the people who actually enjoy this platform, the people that get information from here, the people that learn from here, and the people that grow from here. I know there's a lot of people that do that. And where things are these days, looking at the situation with YouTube, instead of YouTube doing what I would do if it was my company, because from what I read that Google only gets about 10% of their annual revenue from YouTube. And if that was the case with me, I would go back on the offensive against the Wall Street Journal and anybody else, because it don't take much for Google to do their research, since they already got Google and everybody use it, do their research. How many people are actually searching out YouTube channels and YouTube news shows versus the mainstream media and the Wall Street Journal and etc. And if Google actually put that information out and galvanize their content creators to go at who's attacking them, that would leverage a whole lot of things. That's what I would do. I mean, you got a big corporation like Google, you got a website that's getting 1 billion hits a day. No news website, no Wall Street Journal, any of them is getting 1 billion hits a day. 65 years of videos uploaded to YouTube daily. No one could actually say that. And instead of them flexing their muscles and say, we not no punk, they're going to sit up here and say, well, we're going to change this, we're going to change that. Change it for what? Like I said, nobody doing what you're doing. That's the thing. When nobody's doing what you're doing, at least on a website, then you do that. But instead of flexing, they sit up there cowering to organizations that's dying. And yes, the mainstream media is dirty. It is dirty, 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 dirty. Oh my God. I'm not going to say that name, but thank you for the donation. Anyway, they're extremely dirty. And we know this. And like I said, I don't agree with Donald Trump on a whole lot of things. Thank you, the body 245. I don't agree with him a whole lot of things. But with this ad crisis stuff, now I actually have to believe Donald Trump. when Donald Trump said they are the enemy of the people. Because, and you start looking at them, who caused Black Wall Street? It was the media. It wasn't just the people doing that. Y'all need to understand, it was a lie from a newspaper that galvanized that whole situation, because the guy in the newspaper didn't like the black people having anything. So you look at who started the hatred for any organization that we ever had, whether it's the Black Panthers, whether it's the Nation of Islam, whether it's Martin Luther King, whether it's anybody that we ever had. Shoot, even some of the things that Black Lives Matter was doing, who started the hatred for them? It's always been the media, because they know people rather be told what to think, unfortunately, instead of researching on their own. And they use that to their advantage. So you have to understand, they're trying to control the narrative, and whoever controls narratives have the power in their opinion. So when you have regular folks like myself telling you these people are liars, when you have regular folks like me telling you, no, we don't need to be going to war with anybody, because what does that benefit us? What does that benefit our community? How in the world are you telling us to go fight your wars and everything else? But yeah, you calling us N-words all day, watching your police kick our kids in the face, shoot us in the back. But yeah, you talking about go fight a war and trying to build up a war drum. And the mainstream media is on there with those international bankers and the elite in this country. And they're mad that you have regular independent people like myself will tell you, hell no. And I'm not the only one. There's many other people that's doing the same thing. And if you like those people, you know, support those people. But we are standing in the way of that, of the agenda. So instead of the mainstream media, they tried to come on YouTube. They tried to compete against people like ourselves. And they can't even compete with their millions upon millions of dollars, their government connections, their exclusives. Everybody send them everything, yet they can't compete. Why? Because people are sick and tired of them. They're tired of the pro-police narratives. No matter what they do, they pro-police. And when y'all sending them these stories, and one sister got mad at me this week, I said, why y'all tweeting the media about these videos? Tweet this stuff out to your content creators who make them. There's many of them. I'm not the only one. Tweet it out to them. And, you know, she wanted to argue with me about, oh, you know, it's a slave mentality. So what the hell are you talking about? It's not a slave mentality. The fact is, I'm tired of hearing the media sitting up there when you talk about some injustice that happened to one of our brothers and sisters. Oh, they're going to come up there. Well, you know, he went to jail last week. What they got to do with him getting his face kicked in? But that's what they do to justify things, right? But it was funny how when it was Dr. Dow and they brought up his past. Well, you know, his past has nothing to do with what happened on United Airlines. Like, what the hell? Then that too. We call out their hypocrisy. We call it out. And they don't like that sort of thing. So they don't like competition. But you have people who are highly educated, yet they're getting beat by regular everyday citizens who have just common sense and say, wait a minute, I see through the BS. You don't need a high dollar degree from Harvard to see through your BS and your propaganda. So yes, the media is dirty. They're dirty. They will do the most dirty stuff. And this YouTube ad crisis is something that's extremely dirty. Antoinette, thank you. Extremely dirty. And they trying to harm the content creators, not Google. Google is not even affected, but trust me, YouTube could shut down today and Google will not go out of business. It's only 10% of their revenue. It's just the truth. They did that to harm people like myself and other people who are doing this. Helen, thank you for joining us on Patreon. Joseph Smith, thank you for joining us on Patreon. Thank you very much. But they're trying to do that to harm independent people who putting out the information. And that was all that's about. They tried to harm the biggest guy on YouTube, but that didn't work. The dude got money like that. You can't touch him. So he'd rather touch the people that they can try to touch. And then you have, you know, and this is something I'm going to call out because it's the truth. You know, some people, you know, they say they for the people, but yet they're not even talking about this. They're not even really mentioning this. You know, and the people I'm talking about, if other people made the video and they calling them out, but I actually did the research, is, you know, the Turks. They not saying a word about it. And I get why they're not saying a word about it, because they getting all their ads on every video, and I did the research. But the thing is, if you're for the people, you need to speak out whether you're getting your ads or not. Even if you're getting preferential treatment from YouTube, you need to speak out, because there are people that's beneath you. But you know how that goes. When you get to this point that you think I'm not saying how they think, but when you think you are a little elite to a point, maybe you want to act like you could separate yourself. And that's something I never want to do, is separate myself from the people. Yesterday, I was at a restaurant and I met a young man, and, he saw me eating. He said he recognized me. And, this young man was a waiter, and he said he was in school, and he said he was just happy to meet me or whatever. And I was just shaking his hand. I was telling him, keep getting, good grades in school. Right now you hustling at this job, but eventually you're going to get somewhere that you want to be. Just keep doing the right thing. And see, for me, like I said, I'm not Hollywood like that. You come up to me, I will talk to you. I don't care who you are. And, I can't stand that sort of thing. So for me, the people need genuine people as possible. We need to speak up for those who can't speak up for themselves, because it's so easy to get into that, well, I'm doing good, I don't care about nobody else. And that's wrong, because we, within our community especially, we are raised, and it's just bred into our DNA to have a village mentality. That's why other groups don't understand why we will say, you're my brother. Now, of course, you're not my blood brother, but you're my brother, because we have a village mentality. That comes from Africa. Even though they took us from Africa, Africa's still in us, whether we like it or not. And when you say, oh, that's my sister, they don't get that. But we have an interconnected spirit with each other. Good morning, Sister Victoria. We have an interconnected spirit with each other. So when you see them, you sympathize with them. That's my brother, that's my sister. We need to help them out. This individualism. Yes, you need to be responsible for yourself. Yes. But this individualism, like, well, I got mine, forget them. That's not of Africa. That's not of the village mentality. When one get up, the village come up. That's that Caucasian European stuff. Well, I'm worried about myself. And really, I can't really say that, because they take care of their own people to a point. The way they lower end people, the elite ones, just to get their stuff and make them think they're helping them out, but they're really screwing them at the end of the day. And we'll get into that too while we talk about the food. But there's nothing wrong with the village mentality. And I speak up against those who have that, well, I just got mine, they need to get theirs. Maybe if they do this, maybe they do that. Man, be quiet. Just because you had the opportunity, help your brothers and sisters so they can come up with you. That's all. You ain't got to be talking down to nobody. I mean, we don't need to do that. So with the YouTube, like I say, ad crisis going on, we checked and we are about 564 people on our Patreon as of now. And we had just two people just join a second ago. So we really want to try to get to at least 50% by the end of the month, because this stuff hasn't let up at all. It hasn't. I've emailed, some people I knew in YouTube and asked them about certain things with that, because I'm noticing, certain things that aren't happening here, because people telling me all the time, Phil, I'm not seeing ads. I didn't pay for YouTube Red, but I'm not seeing any ads. Well, that's stuff we need to know so I can relay that information, because like I said, it's hitting everybody. I went to random channels one day and people just aren't getting them. But some people are. So when I saw that some people are, I had to ask them, okay, well, what's going on with some people getting them and some people not? I mean, when you click every video, they're getting ads, but then you click your videos, you don't see no ads. Say, well, wait a minute, what's the deal with that? Like I said, we keep our content clean as possible. We don't be doing all a bunch of cussing and sexually suggestive material and stuff like that. We don't try to show a bunch of violence, or we try to keep it clean as possible. And I get a lot of emails from people, that tell me, I appreciate that you do that. I can actually watch videos in front of my children, and I don't have to tell them to leave the room or turn it down while I'm somewhere at work because you screaming and cussing, and my boss will start looking. People appreciate that, and that's why I try to make the content clean as possible for that reason. You can watch us at work, you can watch us when you're waiting for the doctor or whatever else. I mean, that's kind of what we want to keep it, clean as possible, just to make sure that everyone can be accommodated. But with that being said, let's see here. Sister Victoria, we have trolls in here. If you're there, could you get rid of them, please? Anyway, So with that being said, we definitely need your help. It's very, very important that we hit our goal because like I told y'all, I don't know if you saw more video production out of me this week. I don't know if you noticed that. Like I've been posting a lot of videos. Now, why did that happen? I'm gonna tell you why that happened real quick before we get to the food. It happened because of you. Straight up, it happened because of you. When I seen the people show us last week that the people that did respond, they showed us that we don't want this show to go away. We don't want you to stop. We want you to continue to do it, and we're going to make sure to support it so it can continue happening. When I saw just that amount people went to support, it put like a little wind in my sail, and it made me want to do more. And I told you this a long time ago. If I see the people supporting us and we get to that point 100%, ain't nothing these people could tell me at that point, then I'm gonna really be free to talk because I ain't got to hold back. Because why I don't have to hold back on certain things is because I know the people have us. We don't have to worry about what YouTube is doing or anybody else. We just keep putting out the content. And that's the point we want to be at. We don't have to worry about no changing titles or let's avoid this topic because it may get demonetized. No, we don't want to worry about that. We want to put out a video. We put junk out. We don't worry about that financial stuff at all. And that's the freedom when the people support you. So as I see the people, more and more coming to, support, it just making me just more want to do more and more. And I love that. I don't like worrying about not just me. We don't like worrying about, finance. I just want to focus on the content. That's it. Because I'm stressed about certain things with finances, I'm stressed about this. It's hard to try to keep your eyes focused on content. So, hey, well, you know what? Hey, I appreciate that. But at the same time, it takes, some funds to do this. Like I said, we don't have major investors. We weren't given millions of dollars or anything. Trust me, but you saw us or heard about us getting millions of dollars. Patreon's gone, PayPal's gone, all that's gone because I don't even like fooling with any of that stuff. We don't. The last thing I want to do is be telling y'all that. So like I said, but we're not there yet. So the people, it has to be more grassroots of the people coming together. And that's why I was saying, we're not asking, all the subscribers to do anything. We're saying that if we got 564 people, well, I think 66 people now on our Patreon. If we can make up the 3,000 people that follow to say, you know what? Yes, I believe in the platform enough. Well, I want to support monthly for a minimum of $5 a month. That's it. And more, like I said before, if you can't do that at this time period, I get it. I'm not saying anything because some people want to go through stuff with me. It's for people that believe in us enough. And I just believe those people are here. And maybe those people couldn't do it last week, but maybe the people say, yeah, I can do it this week and so on. So that's the people that we're talking about. And anytime I see those people pop up here while I'm doing this, I'll call their name out. I couldn't see the people just here because I'm looking toward there, but thank you. What PayPal and Patreon is gone? What is he talking about? Anyway, I'll put the link to the Patreon here. Well, finish college. Sister, finish college. That's more important. Finish college. Get your education. No, don't. We talking about people who are in the position they can do that. So that's how we put this here first, and then we get into the food. That's the link to the Patreon. Make sure you join us there. And in order for us to keep the channel going, let's help us on Patreon. Like I said, those who can, we this thing. You want to show the mainstream media they can't mess with us or anybody like us that you support. Help them keep going. That would be a major slap in the face when the people say, hell no, you're not touching these people. This is what we like. We don't like your behind. You put out crap. We don't want to hear you talking about all the stuff you're talking about. Because 9 times out of 10 you're against us anyway. So no. And I know the people can show them. This is the thing. It's more power with the people than it is with corporations. There's only so many people that CEOs or so many people that run stuff. But there's millions upon millions of us in this country. And if we band together and show them that you are really a parasite to the rest of us, you're only where you're at because of the rest of us, then no, let's show them. And I know the people can. Join us on Patreon for a minimum of $5 a month. Now let's get to some information, things that the mainstream media would not tell you because they in bed with all these people. How many people know that when it comes to the food industry here in America, it doesn't care about your race? It doesn't care about even your economic status. Only thing they care about is profits. Now we see we have an obesity issue here in the United States, but many people feel, how did that happen? Why even children are having childhood diabetes? Why are we having the high blood pressure? Why are we having the cholesterol? Why are people dying of cancer so much? We just heard Charlie Murphy just died of cancer. Then at the time of the video, I didn't even realize his wife died of cancer back in 2009. She was a person that worked out a lot, and she found out she had cervical cancer with only 2 weeks to live. So he lost his wife in 2009 to cervical cancer. She only had 2 weeks to live. She planned her funeral and everything. And this man was a widower for 4 children, and he refused to remarry anybody. And now that's when you love somebody like to death. You can't even replace them at all. And from what I heard, I think Bruce talked about this. He said that Charlie would say about his wife, he said it's like a piece of a missing puzzle. You can't just really replace it. And that's awesome. You know, the love this man had for his wife. And now the kids, you know, lost Charlie. Both the parents gone to cancer. And everybody's been saying this. I've been saying this. It is the food. It is the food they're feeding us. The food they're promoting to feed your children. And we have to get in the habit of knowing to look at labels, to read what they're putting in the food that you're eating and things that you're feeding your children. Once I start learning this information, not only it started helping me health-wise, it started also making me feel bad as a parent that I fed my children this mess. And then I start to think this government is complicit in the killing of its own citizens with the food. And there's no reason for that. And I think about it. I grew up in a time period where I remember the old people. And the old people, they weren't dying like they die today, these cancers. You have these children, they look so grown at teenage years. Why is that? It's that way because all the hormones that's being put in the food. I mean, this stuff is sad. And people are so thinking well, I'm eating a good meal. The government say eat this, eat that. But they are 100% wrong. Definitely 100% wrong. So let's go ahead and look at something. I'll put it up on the screen here. All right. So you know that there's a lot of food additives. We have sweeteners. We have GMO foods. We have food dyes. Now, as for me personally, I don't eat soy because I have a soy allergy. I didn't know that, but I have a soy allergy. I get migraine headaches, anything with soy. Now, if you go in the grocery store right now and you start looking in your packages and look at anything that has soy, soybean oil, soy lecithin, or soy flour, you're going to find out there's a whole lot of things you just cannot eat. Now, with this soy allergy that I have, didn't realize it was giving me migraines. It was giving me indigestion. It was making me bloated. It was constantly doing all this stuff. Every time I would lose weight, I couldn't understand why it always come back. Didn't understand why. My doctor pinpointed the soy. The doctor also pinpointed what was causing me a lot of digestive issues with food dyes. Once he pointed these two things out to me and told me about grains, not to eat grains because grains isn't made for human consumption. Didn't know that, but the government tell you eat whole grains. It's not made for you to be eating that mess. And I didn't understand that either at the time because he told me, what do they feed cattle? Well, they grains. Say, why they feed them? To fatten them up, right? Say, why you think you dealing with weight then? because you're eating grains. Stop eating them. So once he took me off of grains, it started to help me start losing weight. And that's the amazing part of it. And I'm not even trying at this point. It's just coming off. And it was the things that I were eating. He was saying that we're sabotaging ourselves every day, and the government is not helping us by telling us to eat grains, to allow food dyes, and so on and so on. So there's many things that's put in our food that we should not be eating. Correct? So yes, we can talk about the radiation, but let's talk. We get to some of the things. So as you see on the screen here, food additives to avoid. While the FDA, and they are complicit in our health, trust me, recognize most additives on the list as safe, there are growing concerns about the safety of many common food additives if consumed in large quantities. Yeah, see, when the FDA put this stuff out, they always say it's safe in small quantities. Well, most people going to eat these quantities a lot bigger than what the FDA said in that lab. Oh yeah, it's safe. It's not going to hurt you. Well, if maybe one bowl of cereal is not going to hurt you, but you're eating 2 and 3 bowls of cereal a day, then what do you think is going to happen to you? You're ingesting chemicals. But let's go on with this. One of them you need to look at: sodium nitrate. Look at when we doing this. Go to your kitchen, look in your packages today. Rewind this video and say, do I have this stuff in my food in my home right now? Sodium nitrate added to processed meats to stop bacterial growth, linked to cancer in humans. It says worst offender. Sulfites used to keep prepared foods fresh can cause breathing difficulties in those sensitive to the ingredient. You see, most of this stuff is processed foods. Please understand that. Processed foods is the problem. My doctor told me at the time, anything in a bag, a can, you don't need to eat it, period. And I said, really? I said, why? I said, because it's processed. But continuing. Let me see if I'm saying this right. Azotic carbonamide, I'm not good at saying them long names, used in bagel and buns can cause asthma. Now, what if you already have asthma and you eating this stuff? Hot dog buns and bagels. Potassium bromate added to bread to increase volume, linked to cancer in humans. Okay, we can go down. Propiol or propyl galate. If I'm saying that right and I'm wrong, some of you people say you ain't saying it right. Like I said, it is what it is. I'm just trying to give you the information. Added to fat containing products, linked to cancer in humans. So far, we have looked at about 3 ingredients that has cancer, and they put this mess in your food and you're eating it. And you wonder why people are catching cancer. It's common sense. It is the food we're eating. BHA, BHT, a fat preservative. Notice it keeps saying preservatives. And I've been telling people for a long time, preservatives have been killing people. Using foods to extend shelf life. Processed foods, preserved foods. Remember what the doctor said, anything in a box. Cereal comes in a box. Okay, it's linked to cancer, the cancerous tumor growth. Now think about this. Let me take this down. You've been feeding your children Apple Jacks, and they have that stuff in it, these chemicals. You think Apple Jack's okay for little kids? They market it for the kids, and kids like this. And we even got to the sugar part. We was talking about the chemicals. But how many of you, including myself over my lifetime, have eaten this mess? It's wrong. Butane. Put in chicken nuggets to keep them tasting fresh, a known carcinogen. Let me stop right there. Let me tell you about butane. I used to do trucks with butane on them. Trucks with butane come in what you call like those pressure trucks that you see, the bottle trucks on the road, the refrigerated ones. And when they go to the plant, you have to wear a respirator, okay? And you hook up your nitrogen line and your cargo line to this. You cut on your nitrogen because you got to have nitrogen put on butane, or if it hits the atmosphere, it's going to evaporate. So you want to keep it in liquid form. They use butane as a filler. for gasoline. Kind of like if you have like Kool-Aid and then you add sugar to it and you know the volume increases, but it blends in very well with the Kool-Aid. Well, it's the same thing with butane. I used to work with that mess. And when you do that, you have to wear a full face respirator, getting out, you know, the fumes from you breathing it in. I know this is a carcinogen, and yet they putting this stuff in the food. Most of the stuff that they handle in these refineries is procedure upon procedure, so you won't get cancer. Sometimes they make them wear a full rain suit with a respirator, gloves put on, rubber gloves, taped up with a duct tape, sometimes rubber boots that taped up, all that just to handle these products that they're putting in your food. That's how serious it is. And the American public really don't think about that. And the mainstream media, they won't tell you this because they are in bed with these people. And you wonder why they want people like us shut down. Let's continue. Monosodium glutamate, MSG, flavor enhancer that can cause headaches, linked in animal studies to nerve damage, heart problems, and seizures. Everybody, you know, please keep these things that we're looking at. Please do. Disodium inosinate in snack foods contain MSG. Disodium, guanylate. I'm not good at these names, brothers and sisters. I'm not. Also using snack foods contains MSG. Same thing. And we know they say it's supposed to cause nerve damage, heart problems, and seizures. How many of us go eat these snack foods all over the place? That's not good for us. How many? And yet it is killing us. And you wonder why we have all the health problems. And to add on top of that, how many of you eat table salt? You say you love Cheetos? Well, I mean, you're going to get some information today. And if you choose to eat Cheetos after this point, it's on you. Now, you can get the organic Cheetos. They have them out there if you want to eat them. And it's made through all organic products. But we'll get to that another time. Enriched flour, used in many snack foods, a refined starch that is made from toxic ingredients. And this is the stuff that we're eating every day. Yes, I know about the TSP. I know about that in cereal. You're right about that. We have RBGH, which is a growth hormone, genetically engineered version of natural growth hormone in cows. Boosts milk production in cows, contains high levels of IGF-1, which is thought cause various types of cancer. Translation, stop buying the ordinary milk. Buy the organic milk if you're going to drink cow's milk. Me, I don't drink cow's milk no longer. I drink almond milk, and I make sure that's organic as well, without all the extra sugars and stuff like that. African Americans don't do very well with dairy. Not to say that I have lactose intolerance, but a lot of African Americans are lactose intolerant. And dairy just isn't good for you to be ingesting too much anyway. It helps, all that cream and extra stuff they put in that stuff is bad. Now, we knowing that we drinking this regular milk here, it is causing us to feed our children. How many of you have children and you poured that regular cow's milk in your child bottle? Or you pour that regular cow's milk in your child's sippy cup? And yeah, we are giving our children something that has a way for our children to get cancer. Now, the refined vegetable oils. This is something that we need to look at here. Includes soybean oil, which I can't have nothing with soy anyway. And thank God, I thank God for a soy allergy. You just don't realize how I thank God for it. You can't get me to touch nothing with soy because it gives me a migraine. I mean, the moment I swallow something with soy, the migraine headache triggers quick. So it's a blessing I can't eat nothing with soy. Corn oil, safflower oil, canola oil, and peanut oil, high in omega-6 fats, which are thought to cause heart disease and cancer. Now, the good oils that you can have and I want to definitely thank Sister Sharifa for that education she had gave us that time. Grapeseed oil is good. Olive oil is good. Avocado oil is good. Just to name a few to use. But, you know, soybean, corn, safflower, canola, and peanut is all refined, and we need to stay away from that. Now, sodium benzoate, this is something that's in a lot of your food, used in a preservative in salad dressing and carbonated beverages. So all them sodas that a lot of you like to drink, which I've never been a person to drink soda. Trust me, I don't like soda like that. You drink that stuff, it's a known carcinogen and may damage your DNA. What's up? I actually, Sister Ajali, some people say don't cook with olive oil, season with it. Well, no, I didn't say soy milk. I can't have soy. So that's why I said almond milk. You can have almond milk. You have coconut milk out there. Some people, they got cashew milk. They got all kind of milk out there. You can get I say the organic one. Don't get the one with the chemicals in it, because they can put chemicals in that too. Avocado oil is one of them. They really promoted it more because you can cook with a high heat. On that. Yeah, you're right. If you can clean batteries with Coke, you shouldn't be drinking it. It's just that simple. So if you're drinking soda, stop it. You're being educated today. And like they say, when you know better, you do better. Well, now you're going to learn better today. Brominated vegetable oil. Keep flavor oils and soft drinks suspended. Bromate is a poison that can cause organ damage and birth defects. Not required to be on food labels. You see that? So it's not even on a label, but yet it's in those sodas that you're drinking. And we are talking about organs as it is, damaging your organs and birth defects for your children, women. So leave the soda alone. And also, a side note about soda or pop or whatever how you want to call it. Here in the South, we call it soda water, right? So you can call it soft drinks. It erodes the enamel on your teeth as well. So it causes you a dental bill. And who wants to go to the dentist all the time because of the acid that's put in it? So soda is just bad for you all the way around. Nothing good about it. Let me see. Hold on. Propionate found in meats, popcorn, soup mixes, and frozen dinners. Shown to cause cancer in rats. Banned in some countries. Deemed safe by who? The FDA. All right. Alestra, fat-like substance that is unabsorbed by the body, used in place of natural fats and some snack foods, can cause digestive problems and also not healthy for your heart. And we know as African Americans, we've been having a lot of what? Heart disease. And yet we're eating things that's going to hurt us. What you said about the organic foods is not true. It is not true. Actually, the organic foods are very affordable these days. It's not like it used to be. For instance, like if you go to Kroger, if you got a Kroger by your house, the Kroger's nationwide, they have their organic version as well. And it's actually maybe $1 or so more. But some people say you can't afford it. Well, can you afford to die? And we as African people, we spend $1 trillion a year on a lot of things. We spend just $50 billion alone on Christmas. So we spend $50 billion alone on Christmas. What do we say? Let's take some of that $50 billion that we celebrating a holiday that we shouldn't be celebrating, and let's take that and to make sure our family eat good, eat right, so they can live. So you can live to be there for your children at the end of the day. So, the next one, number 19, carrageenan, if I'm saying it right, stabilizer and thickening agent used in many prepared foods, can cause ulcers and cancer. Number 20, polysorbate 60, a thickener that's used in baked goods, can cause cancer in laboratory animals. Number 21, kamabo wax used in chewing gum and to glaze certain foods, can cause cancers and tumors. Magnesium sulfate used in tofu and can cause cancer in laboratory animals. Chlorine dioxide used in bleaching flour can cause tumors and hyperactivity in children. Let me stop right there just for a second. When it comes to refined sugar, refined flour, all these things that are bleached, get it out your diet. Put it like this: anything white, get it out your diet. Brown is where it's at. I'm just telling you the truth. Brown rice, natural sugar is what? Organic sugar. Look at the color, organic sugar, and look at the refined sugar. Look at the difference. What are they? Brown. If you're going to eat bread, get an organic bread. And the organic breads are what color? Go look at them. Brown. Ezekiel bread. What color is that one? Brown. None of them are white. And the Ezekiel bread is actually made from the recipe from the Bible. If those of you who want to follow the scriptures with how to make bread, it's brown. None of it's white. White is bad with food. Brown is good in the area of your health. He say go brown. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Paraben, used to stop mold and yeast forming in foods, can disrupt hormones in the body and it could be linked to breast cancer. You see what I'm saying? It's the food. It's not, some people say, oh, it's in the air. Some of you don't live nowhere near a refinery or anywhere that's processing chemicals. Some of you live in areas that's rural, and yet you're still getting all these cancers. Why? It's the food that you're eating. Sodium carboxymethylcellulose, used as a thickener in salad dressings, can cause cancer in high quantities. So if you put a lot of salad dressing on your salad, you're basically eating cancer or something that can cause it. Aluminum, a preservative in some packaged foods that can cause cancer. So before we get to the sweetener part, now I know some of you bucking real hard with me in this comment section. I'm reading how you're bucking. You bucking real hard, but it's about your health. Listen, I was bucking at first too. When my doctor was informing me about some of this stuff, I like, well, what I'm gonna eat? Well, but why would they tell me this? And why would they say it's good? And why I was saying all this? Trust me, I was fighting just as hard as you fighting in this comment section right now. But once you present it with the information, what are you going to do about it? If you get sick at this point and you know, it's your fault at that point. Before, you was ignorant of this knowledge. Now you have it. What are you going to do about it? That's what you think. And if not for you, what about your children? Do your children deserve to be healthy? Your children deserve to be cancer-free, free of chemicals, free of aluminum, free of all this mess. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children. Because if without you being here, who's going to take care of your children? And then you don't want them to get sick. You don't want them to come up with cancers. And some people talking about the drinking water. I'm talking about my doctor talking about drinking water. He told me, he said, what kind of water are you drinking? I said, well, we got the bottled water because my wife had bought she got about 30 cases of Ozarka natural spring water. She had coupons. I mean, literally getting it for nothing. He said, okay, get rid of it. Like, what? 30 cases of water for what? You know how hard we was to fighting for that? Get rid of it. And I'm going to tell you why. He said bottled water are sitting in warehouses. The warehouses get real hot. He said the chemicals in the plastic starts to seep into the water. That's why I'm telling you not to drink it. And I said, well, what about the BPA free ones? No, none of them. I said, what do you want us to drink out of then? He said, I want you to put a filter at your home, filter that water out, get one of these metal containers and drink out of that. Not anything plastic. You can get something with glass. He said, even when you go to the restaurant, you want water, take your own glass. That's what I do with my family. I take my own glass. And I said, wow, okay. So all this like lifestyle changing, okay? And yes, it's hard to hear that because we have been lied to our whole lives. The food pyramid has lied to us. The government has lied to us. Even when he told me about the grain part, as I told you earlier, that freaked me out. Because I said, well, I thought whole grains are good. I said, no. He said, do you know the government want people to have grains because it gives a lazy effect and a calming effect? So the people won't be all mad and rioting all the time. Do you realize that? He said people should not be eating grains. When I did my own separate research, as many doctors said the same thing. Grains aren't made for human consumption. I said, wow, and they telling us to eat this stuff in our diet. And then we mentioned earlier table salt. Somebody said, yeah, you probably mentioned table salt because it's bad and it gives us, heart disease. No, that's just one part of it. Do you know, and I freaked out when I found this out, my doctor told me, do you realize how they make table salt? I was like, no. He said, make it out of glass. I said, huh? He said, make it out of crushed glass. And he said, and when you ingest table salt, it has little cuts on your blood vessels, and your body tries to heal that, and that's why your blood pressure raises. He said also cholesterol rises because it's trying to help repair the small cuts in your blood vessels. And then when I did my own independent research, yes, biggest day, it's made out of glass. I said, well, so what salt to use? Sea salt is the only one you can use. They sell the fine sea salt in the store, and it's not that expensive. Like I said, all the good stuff now are starting to drop price. It's not like it used to be. But like I said, you got to just find the right. I'm not telling you to go to Whole Foods, because Whole Foods is expensive. That's what some people are thinking. Oh, well, I can afford it because Whole Foods, that's too expensive. Like I said, I go to Kroger. That's where I go. And I get good prices out of there. So please, for the love of your health and the health of your children, throw that table salt in the trash, get you some sea salt. Throw that refined sugar that you're using in the trash, get you some organic sugar. It's about your health at the end of the day. Do you want to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on radiation treatments? Or do you want to spend a few extra dollars here and there on eating things that's good for your body? It's your choice at the end of the day. I'm just trying to do my due diligence to inform the people of what these people are doing. And the mainstream media is not going to tell you this because they're in bed with these same people. Well, hold on. Seesaw radioactive. Well, like I said, if I'm following yes, I know the Himalayan one. A lot of people getting the pink Himalayan one. Kroger is actually not expensive. No, it's not. I go there a lot. I got 4 doggone kids. Okay. We go to Kroger. So a guy with 4 kids, a family, wife, kids, all that. We feed our family from there. You can find plenty of good deals from there. All right, let's go to the sweeteners. This is something. It's artificial sweeteners are regulated by the FDA just as food additives are, but this does not apply to products generally recognized as safe. Saccharin, carcinogen found to cause bladder cancer in rats. The worst offender. Aspartame, an extra. I'm saying it wrong. I'm too untired this morning, brothers and sisters, but I'm just excited about giving y'all the information so y'all won't kill yourself. It's thought to be a carcinogen that can cause dizziness, headaches, blurred vision, and stomach problems. This is the worst offender to me and people all the time. High fructose corn syrup, sweetener made from cornstarch made from genetically modified corn, causes obesity, diabetes, heart problems, arthritis, and insulin resistance. That one right there, high fructose corn syrup. Go look at your syrups that you want to put on your pancakes. It's full of high fructose corn syrup. Your ketchups, full of high fructose corn syrup. Your all your cereals have this in it for the most part. This culprit right here, and look what it say: obesity, diabetes, heart problems, arthritis, and insulin resistance. And you wonder why a lot of people in this country is sick beyond sick. It's the food that we are eating. See, the old people didn't eat high fructose corn syrup. You know why? Because the old people will go kill their own chicken, their own cow. They will grow their own food. They'll get other food from other people. That's why they didn't die like we are dying today. They live more of an agricultural lifestyle. And I was young enough to remember that. I seen the change from more so an agricultural lifestyle. I'm talking about black people. Black people growing their own gardens. It was normal to see everybody in the yard. Different neighbors have gardens. My grandfather grew okra. He had grew onion. He also had like watermelon back there as well. It was no GMO watermelon with no seeds. If your watermelon has no seeds, then it's GMO. And we'll get into talking about that here shortly. Acesulfate potassium used with other artificial sweeteners in diet sodas and ice cream. linked to lung and breast tumor in rats. Sucralose, Splenda, can cause swelling of the liver and kidneys and a shrinkage of the thymus gland. Agave nectar, sweetener derived from a cactus, contains high levels of fructose, which causes insulin resistance, liver disease, and inflammation of body tissues. Bleached starch can be used in many dairy products thought to be related to asthma and skin irritation. Tert-butyl hydroquinone, if I'm saying it right, used to preserve fish products, could cause stomach tumors in high doses. So, you got that list. Well, you should have learned a long time ago you can't trust your government. I don't know how many times we know as black people you can't trust them. So I don't know why you're trusting them now. I'm talking about everybody. This message is for everybody. It ain't just for black people. It's for everybody. So let's go down to the food colorings, which I stay away from food dyes because my body can't take it, and thank God it can't. Red number 40. Found in many foods to alter color. All modern food dyes are derived from petroleum. Okay, you know petroleum, which is oil. A carcinogen that is linked to cancer in some studies also can cause hyperactivity in children. When your kids bouncing off the walls, parents, especially a 2-year-old. Why you want to give a 2-year-old red number 40? Banned in some European countries, the worst one. Now all these are found like in your M&Ms, your Skittles, anything with color to it. Right? A lot of your cereals. Just look for these numbers. Blue number 1, used in bakery products, candy, and soft drinks. Now, earlier you saw all the chemicals that's put in soft drinks on a good day to cause cancer. And now this can damage your chromosomes and lead to cancer. So these sodas you're drinking, it's just a cancer cocktail. So if you want to drink cancer cocktails after this video, it's up to you at this point. Don't tell me nothing if I see you buying 24 cases of Coke. And then you lady talking about, man, they diagnosed me with this. Like, well, I didn't I do the video the other day? And you've been drinking this mess after the fact? Blue number 2, used in candy and pet food beverages, can cause brain tumors. Citrus red number 1, sprayed on oranges to make them look ripe, can damage chromosomes and lead to cancer. Citrus red number 2, used to color oranges, can cause cancer if you eat the peel. Green number 3, used in candy and beverages, may cause bladder tumors. Yellow number 5, used in desserts, candy, and baked goods, thought to cause kidney tumors, according to some studies. Yellow number 6, a carcinogen used in sausage, beverages, and baked goods, thought to cause kidney tumors, according to some studies. Sausage, oh my God. I don't eat no pork to save my life. Y'all can keep that nasty animal. That is a nasty animal. Even in the Old Testament, the Bible taught about that. Red number 2, a food coloring that may cause both asthma and cancer. Now, like I said, if you already have asthma and you eating red number 2, come on. Red number 3, a carcinogen that is added to cherry pie filling, ice cream, and baked goods may cause nerve damage and thyroid cancer. Caramel coloring, which you have seen this in that poison cocktail called soft drinks. In soft drinks, sauces, pastries, and breads, when made with ammonia, it can cause cancer in mice. Food companies are required to disclose if this ingredient is made with ammonia, so they don't even have to tell you. Brown HT, used in many packaged foods, remember the foods in the bags, can cause hyperactivity in children, asthma, and cancer. Orange B, a food dye that is used in hot dog and sausage casings. High doses are bad for the liver and bile duct. Bixen, food coloring that can cause hyperactivity in children and asthma. Norbixen, food coloring that can cause hyperactivity in children and asthma. Annatto, food coloring that can cause hyperactivity in children and asthma. So that's just that part of the information. And yeah, you got to be careful with what you're eating. Can be cured prior to. Man, look, y'all talking about pork. I'm not eating no pork. Y'all can keep that nasty animal. I ain't eating no pork. Forget that. Have you seen the videos what happened with pork? And no, I'm not Islam or nothing like that at all. I just don't believe in eating pork like that. The stuff that comes from a pig is just, their digestive system is horrible too, versus a cow. But understand something. Understand something. It's why a person got to be a Muslim if they don't want to eat pork? The Old Testament teach you not to eat pork. Anyway, I'm putting out this information so you guys can know, right? When you go in your refrigerator today, go in your pantry, stuff like that, refer back to this video. You put it on silent. You can refer to all the information. And what I'll do once this is done, I'll put the links in the description box once this is done. I can't do it now. And then you can go look at these yourself, go down the list and see if you got anything like that in your food. You're probably going to throw away probably 90% of your food if you do so. And go and replace it with good foods, organic foods, foods that's hormone free, food diet, no food diet, stuff like that, no soy, the different oils that we talked about here. You have to do this for your overall health and for your health of your children. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children. You don't want your kids to be sick, and these people don't care, and they don't care about nobody. That's not a black or white or Hispanic or Asian, Arab. All this race stuff we got going on in this country. You see these folks, they don't care about no race, and they're trying to harm you and make the money, right? You see that? So everybody needs to open their eyes to this stuff. And there's so many different things you can get into outside of just the food. Now, before we wrap this up, let's go ahead and look at the GMO foods real quick. Let's see here. So we're talking about the GMO foods list, right? Corn, as we talked about earlier. It's one of the most prominent GMO foods. Avoiding corn is a no-brainer. If you watch any food documentary, you know corn is highly modified. As many as half of all U.S. farms growing corn for Monsanto are using genetically modified corn. So there you go. Now, they said GMO corn has been tied to numerous health issues, including weight gain and organ disruption. So we're talking about the weight. The GMO corn is causing that. Soy, which is my enemy, for sure. Found in tofu, vegetarian products, soybean oil, soy flour, and numerous other products, soy is modified to resist herbicides. And now biotech giant Monsanto still has a tight grasp on the soybean market, and with approximately 90% of soy being genetically engineered to resist Monsanto's herbicide Roundup. In one single year, 2006, there was 96.7 million pounds of glyphosate sprayed on soybeans alone. And like I told you, go to the store or even in your pantry right now and see if you have anything with soy in it. And I promise you, most of everything you got has soy. And this is the stuff that's killing us. Thank you, Juanetta Woodward, for joining us on Patreon. Okay, sugar. Let's go down to number 3. According to Natural News, genetically modified sugar beets were introduced in the U.S. market back in 2009. Like others, they have been modified by Monsanto to resist herbicides. Monsanto has even had USDA and court-related issues with the planting of its sugar beets, being ordered to remove seeds from the soil due to illegal approval. Now they talk about aspartame. We talked about that earlier. It's a toxic additive used in numerous food products and should be avoided for numerous reasons, including the fact that it is created with genetically modified bacteria. Y'all hear that? Papayas. This is one may come as a surprise to you all that tropical fruit lovers, GMO papayas have been grown in Hawaii for consumption since '99. Though they can't be sold to countries in the European Union, they are welcome with open arms in the U.S. and Canada. See, the Europeans got it right. Japanese is another one. They don't want the U.S. Stuff in there. Canola. One of the most chemically altered foods in the U.S. diet, canola oil is obtained from rapeseed. Oh, boy, rapeseed. That's wild. Through a series of chemical actions. Cotton, found in cotton oil, cotton originating in India and China, particularly has serious risk. When you go back to making products in USA, dairy. Your dairy products may contain growth hormones since as many as 1/5 of all dairy cows in the U.S. are pumped with these hormones. In fact, Monsanto's health hazards, RBGH, which we talked about that earlier, has been banned in 27 countries, but it's still in most U.S. cows. If you must drink milk, buy organic. This is what we talked about earlier. Number 9 and 10, zucchini and yellow squash. Closely related, the two squash varieties are modified to resist viruses. The dangers of some of these foods are well known. The Bt toxin being used in GMO corn, for example, was recently detected in the blood of a pregnant woman and their babies. You see what I'm talking about? This is hurting pregnant people, pregnant women, children, everybody. But perhaps more frightening are the risks that are still unknown. Even while these foods should be on your GMO foods list so that they are avoided, you can buy 100% organic to be the safest. With little regulation and safety tests performed by the companies doing the genetic modification themselves, we have no way of knowing for certain what risk these lab-created foods pose to us outside of what we already know. The best advice, steer clear of them altogether. So there you have it. Yes, salmon. I wouldn't eat salmon either right about now. I was around looking like telling you boys, yeah, eat corn. Yeah, so this information, like I said, we're putting out here today is to help you live. See, the mainstream media is not worried about you living. They're going to sit up there and promote all the horrible foods for you. Don't tell you that this stuff is killing you. They'll sit up there and make a Pepsi commercial with Kendall Jenner, but yet they are basically putting a bowl around a poop sandwich and telling you to go eat it. That's basically what they're doing. If I sat up there and poured a bunch of poison in the glass and say, here, drink it, you're like, man, you crazy as hell. I ain't drinking that. Or if I say, here, give your kids that, you want to fight me. But yet a lot of us are doing it daily and we don't even know. So this information is just for you guys to know, to protect your health, protect your children, to have a good, healthy life. And, you know, people look at, oh, would they deem a success? Being healthy is considered successful. What's the point of having millions of dollars and you are unhealthy? And these people with the cancer can be cured. Cancer is treatable, but the pharmaceutical companies, they love you getting cancer because look all the millions of dollars they're getting from cancer treatments. They love this. So they all in bed with each other. The pharmaceutical companies are making money off of your cancer. Hospitals are making money off your cancer. The food industry is getting you sick. So the pharmaceutical company can make everybody making money. They don't care. I mean, these people are devils. And they being devils to everybody. Like I said, it's not a race thing at that point. It's a money thing with these people. And the people need to open their eyes and wake up at the evil these people are doing to the American people. When other countries say, I don't want your fruit, I don't want your produce in my country because I know you feeding your citizens trash and it's getting them sick, then something is wrong. And we need to be more mindful of what we feed ourselves, feed our children. Stop drinking out of plastic bottles. Get you some of the glass or the metal containers, like I mentioned Yeti, but there's many ones that's not as expensive as Yeti. You can get them from different stores. Put you a filter on your water system and go from there. We need to really take care of ourselves and our children. I want to thank everyone who's donating on the super chat there. I mean, I wasn't looking because I'm paying attention to you guys, but this is why we were saying earlier, the mainstream media is not going to put this information out for you. They don't care about you like that. They're all in cahoots. Hey, you promote your poison on my this. We feed the people poison, get them sick. Pharmaceuticals make money. Population control. Hey, we all win at the end of the day. Everybody making money. So this is why the mainstream media and those above that want to shut people like us down. You're not going to get this kind of information from the mainstream media. And if you do get it, it's going to be in a snippet this small. It's not going to be detailed as we're doing here. I may not be the guy that can pronounce the long names of these terms or these chemicals, but the information is more important than worrying about the way I say things, at least on that. But you get the majority of what I'm saying here presented to you. This is why it's important that you help us keep going and go to our Patreon. Join us on Patreon for a minimum of $5 per month. The information that you're getting here, the mainstream is not going to give you, because they're in cahoots with all these evil bastards that's trying to kill me, my family, and your family through the food. This is what these people are trying to do. So what I was saying is, do your research, go to your pantry, see what you got in there, reference those chemicals, check all that stuff out. And once everything finishes processing, like I said, I'll put the links that I'm looking at, and that way you can look at it, or you want to do your own videos off of it, or whatever you want to do that. But let's spread this information about how these people are really trying to harm us on an everyday level. And the sad part is they're promoting this mess to our children as well. It's telling us it's healthy, it's okay for our children to eat this stuff. And you wonder why your kids are bouncing off of the walls and getting sick at early ages. You wonder why. It's because of what these people are putting in the food. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Like I said, it was just in my mind, my heart, to talk to you guys about this. Maybe it could save some lives, and that's what we definitely want to do here, is have everyone healthy as possible. Once again, like I said, thank everyone that donated here on the super chat. And if you haven't, just search in your heart, if this platform is worthy enough and you get news and information here and you enjoy it, help us stay alive and survive the YouTube ad crisis by joining us on Patreon for a minimum of $5 per month. It's the only way we could survive. We're not the machine. We grassroots. We don't have millions of dollars, but that's the position that we're in. So thank you everyone for joining us today and listening. And I know many people probably want to talk about different subjects with this. You know, I'm not saying I'm the go-to source of this stuff. I just want to get the conversation started, being responsible to use at least the voice that we have to sound the alarm that these people are responsible for the health of our country. And if we don't say nothing about it, then who else will? What's done in the dark has now came to the light. So guys, have a good day and see you next time.